French President Emmanuel Macron his wife Brigitte at the Élysée Palace in Paris on July 20. Michel Oilerap Paris. Emmanuel Macron has long been described as a fresh face in French politics. As it turns out, the appellation may be literal as well. The French magazine Le Point revealed Thursday that France's 39-year-old new president has spent €26,000 $30,000 on makeup services in his first 3 months in office. That's $10,000 a month, or about $330 a day. All at taxpayers' expense. In the rest of the French press, the revelations only added to a growing sentiment that Macron, who currently enjoys an approval rating of just 36%, has gone too far in cultivating what some see as a king-like persona. According to Le Point, the Élysée Palace paid a makeup artist, identified only as Natasha M., on 2 occasions, once for €10,000, and then again for €16,000. The fees were apparently for doing up the president in advance of news conferences, public appearances and various travels. A spokesman for the Élysée, which faced sharp and swift criticism, announced on French television shortly after the news broke that the budget will be reduced significantly. This latest makeup scandal was quickly compared to the revelations from last year that the administration of former French President François Hollande, a socialist, paid about $11,000 a month on the president's haircuts. By comparison, Macron actually spends more or less the same on makeup than his last 2 predecessors. According to Le Point, Hollande spent slightly more per quarter, while Nicolas Sarkozy spent slightly less. But for a new president floundering in the polls, the optics are less than ideal. In France, the average disposable annual income per capita is roughly €25,000 $29,700, according to the OECD. That is slightly less than Macron's makeup expenditure. The news ultimately came in the same week that Macron's Élysée was forced to back down officially from an informal earlier proposal that Macron's wife, Brigitte Macron, be given an official title with her own independent budget beyond the funds already allotted for her staff. More than 300,000 citizens signed a petition against the proposal, and the Élysée confirmed in a Monday statement that the spouse of the head of state will not benefit from any remuneration for her role. But most of all, the makeup news comes at the end of the August recess, right before the French Parliament convenes to discuss one of the most controversial issues here, labor restructuring, and, in particular, the potential cuts in government spending that labor revisions would mean. Macron, a self-styled political centrist, ran on promises to overhaul France's famously rigid labor market to stimulate growth. He has repeatedly made clear his view that slashing public spending is an absolute necessity to achieve that goal, which has lost him a considerable amount of support in the eyes of the public. In July, for instance, Macron insisted that military spending would have to temporarily decrease by approximately $1 billion. Pierre de Villiers, France's top general, resigned in protest. Somewhat predictably, Macron's opponents have wasted no time in piling on the criticism. As the staunchly right-wing François Asselineau, a former presidential contender who advocated of Brexit, wrote on Twitter, the image of France once again humiliated. With his €26,000 of makeup per quarter, Macron becomes the laughingstock of the entire planet. Read more breaking down the Putin-Trump handshake at the G20 summit, the subtle messages in Emmanuel Macron's official portrait. Francis Macron makes moralizing public life a priority.